Hey, what up YouTube? Wes here. Wanted to make a video just going over aspects, like what they are, what all 23 of these do. Make a note on them, talk about the procs, talk about the armors, talk about their cost, and whether or not I recommend them in the current state of the game for new players or veterans. Figured this could be a good reference point since a lot of people don't seem to know what all the different aspects do. So let's just jump right in. I'll probably talk about the armor first, the proc next, and then maybe just make a note on their price or whether or not I recommend them. So, air aspect. Air armor increases your weapon speed, your mana regen, it gives you damage resistance, and it gives you a chance to avoid movement effects like hinders. It's generally not a recommended suit at the moment due to so much swing speed being available through skills and food alone. Most of the standard Dexter type skill sets have plenty of swing speed and get capped pretty easily without it, so generally not a recommended suit. It can be used for some PvP builds or to fit forensics or some extra skill, but it's generally not recommended or popular at the moment. It's kind of due for a rework. The proc is just a higher damage AoE with a cripple debuff, also not a very good proc at the moment. Not recommended. It's kind of cheap, but it's I would recommend looking at other options besides air in the current state of the game. Arcane. Arcane is amazing. Arcane is a very popular aspect. So the armor gives you increased build-up bonuses. This is for staff mages, arcane mages. It heals you when you cast damaging spells versus targets, and it maintains your build-up a little better than if you didn't have it. The armor is not popular. It's not a very high-performing or high-damage suit, so most arcane mages opt to use a different suit. But almost all arcane mages use the weapon. The proc is called Mana Thief, and it will make your staff attacks generate 10 mana per attack for a minute, and it stacks. So this is how most in-game arcane mages, staff mages, are maintaining their mana. This proc is amazing. It doesn't become consistent until late game, like higher aspect, using crystals, maybe even proc chance links. It's a very expensive suit, probably not recommended for new guys, but if you are going to level it, it's fine to use both the armor and the weapon to speed up the process. Eventually, staff mages pick up a different aspect armor. Artisan. This is generally considered the crafting aspect, though I advise against putting it on your alts or your society crafters. If you want to use it, I recommend making a crafting echo on your main character, your main PVM guy, and using it that way. So the armor, generally not used in PVM, but it does give an increased bonus to the crafting skills effects in PVM. It also gives an exceptional crafting chance bonus. But again, this is not a good ROI if you are looking to put it on a crafter. Do not do that. The weapon is amazing. I'm actually using the weapon in the clip over here to the right. We're farming some Cav 4 as a group. It does some damage, and it gives an AoE buff to you and your team, increasing your damage and damage resistance for a short period. Very nice proc, great for team. I use it solo. I really enjoy it. This aspect is very expensive and not recommended for new guys, but it is an option. Blood. Blood is a pretty good suit. It's not as popular as it used to be. It's still used on bosses a lot. The armor deals increased damage to monsters below half HP. It gives your spells and weapon hits a chance to put a bleed on the target, and it gives you a large stat increase, so you can be over 150 hit points with this suit at higher aspect levels with a strength potion active. Generally not a popular suit at the moment, but it is good if you enjoy the suit. The proc is a large AoE damage over time bleed effect, very high damage, but again, not a very popular proc choice at the moment. I would probably advise people to look at other options at the time of this video, but it is a good suit. Command. This is the OG Tamer aspect. The armor, it gives increased follower damage resistance. It increases how quickly you level up tame pets, and it gives you increased success chance when taming. This stuff also works on summons and will work in the future on other pets if we get them, like the Geomancy in the expansion. The armor is kind of outclassed by Frost at the moment, so time of this video, probably don't use the armor unless you just want to level up the suit faster. The proc, however, is still amazing for pet classes. It fully heals your pets and makes them deal increased damage for a time, which is fantastic. It's kind of expensive, not really recommended for new guys, but if you're jumping in, it is an option. Death. Death is kind of like the necromancy suit. It's very cheap, it's not very popular, but it is very good for new guys and extremely early progression. Because it's so cheap, it does perform quite well on almost any mage class. So it increases your effective necromancy, gives you a chance to get extra necromancy symbols so you can spend more abilities, and it makes your weapon hits and spells have a chance to do a disease on the target, though it's generally not used by any weapon users. It's just a mage suit at the moment. It does really well for summoners or arcane mage if you want to try it and have an early aspect to use. I would probably have recommended doing this on a summoner. The proc is just a high damage dot which generates a disease on all the targets. It's not very popular, but it is fun and does a lot of damage. Discipline. Discipline is quite strong. It's a very high performing cheap suit. I'm actually using this on my playthrough. I have a couple of videos up now taking a swords guy from T0 to T5 in 4 videos, and he did extremely well. Very good suit. The armor increases your weapon, specials, your abilities, and your finisher damages. It gives you melee damage bonus and damage resistance as long as you've spent mana, which you can do by being drunk. And it increases your finisher threshold, which is by default 25%, but with discipline you can hit finishers earlier than that, which is very strong, especially on swords. If you haven't seen the video, I recommend checking that out if you're a new guy and you want to do a Dexter. I would probably advise people to copy that and run a discipline swords build early, though there are a lot of other options for Dexters early game. The proc is kind of mid, it's okay. It's great while you're leveling. It's not usually a recommended proc late game, but it is quite fun. The suit is extremely cheap, highly recommended. Earth. Earth is not a very popular suit, but it does have some uses and it's quite cheap if you want to use it early game. It has a chance to increase your melee or spell damage by a large amount, though it's generally not used by mages. It has damage resistance, and it increases your damage resistance cap, though that is really not useful except in some niche circumstances in Time Dungeon at the moment. The proc, however, is amazing. I use the proc all the time, particularly on archers. I really enjoy it. It's great in groups. It's a large AoE high damage ability that lowers the target's armor, everything it hits, by a large amount, increasing the damage you do with your weapons and helping your group out. It's an amazing proc. 10 out of 10, very recommend, and the aspect crystals are very cheap. Very good proc. Eldritch. Eldritch all around is a pretty great suit. It's very diverse how you can use it. It has a lot of cool interactions in the game. The armor will increase your spell damage for a time, and it'll keep ramping the more you cast, which is really cool. It has mana refund cap increase, which is a way to just sustain your mana a little better, and it gives you an effective spirit speak and inscription bonus. So if you're not a scribe, that's still a nice bonus because it'll increase the duration of your bless and your arch protection just for free. If you are a scribe, obviously that's great. It improves your inscription, so you can use your 7th and 8th circle scrolls without losing them and without investing in the chain. Great suit. I use it on arcane mage as well. I really enjoy the armor. The proc does it's kind of low damage, high, like really large AoE, reduces the target's magic resist, and it gives you a mana well, which is just extra mana for you to spend. This is more popular on book mages Staff mages, like I said, tend to use arcane proc, but this is a great option on book mages if you want a nice synergistic book to use. Great proc, it's kind of mid-range price. Definitely recommend it. It's a good suit early on summoners or casters in general if you want something more mid-range to use. Alright, fire aspect. This is a very fun suit. All damage you deal, every instance of damage you deal, will try to generate a little flame strike that does 50 to 75 damage to the target. If you are taking damage, that will you also reflect some of it, and that reflected damage will also try to generate the little flame strikes. It's a very fun suit. It can be high DPS. It's often considered pretty squishy, but it does have a chance to reduce dot damage like bleeds and disease. Pretty good suit. It's very nice on swords or macing early on. It can be used on wrestlers pretty well. The proc is just a fun, super high damage, nice dopamine hit. It's not really a popular proc, but it is relatively cheap, so the aspect crystals are affordable and it's fun. Fortune. This is a very popular suit. Pretty expensive, probably not recommended for new guys, but it has a lot of uses. So Fortune, the main reason people use it is it gives you XP bonus. That increases the rate you level your aspects, your codices, your mastery chain, everything. It also increases the gold and the loot monsters drop, which is fun. Though, if you're by yourself, that's not going to net you more XP or loot than just playing with a proper DPS suit. Though it does have a chance to increase your damage by 50%, it's not considered a DPS suit. It's very expensive. It works really well on team mappers. It can work on tamers. It's great for dungeon picking. Generally all around good suit. It's good for boating, and it's nice to have maybe one person in a party who has Fortune, increasing the loot for everybody. The proc is fun. It's a nice animation, and it increases the gold the monsters drop. Not the XP, just the gold. So it's just for fun, just for increasing the gold drops. Pretty cute aspect. It's expensive, probably not recommended for new guys, but it is an option. Frost. Frost is one of the top tier suits. It came with the expansion last year. The armor makes you and pets apply a chill to the target, and it also increases the maximum chill you can apply. Chill makes you take less damage and deal more damage to that target. Very good suit, very high damage for tamers, very high damage, popular on swords at the moment. It also has a cheat death mechanic called Frost Shell, which makes you, at the time of hitting 50 HP, gain the Frost Shell, and you can't go below 50 HP for 5 seconds. Very popular suit, very expensive. A lot of people are worried about nerfs on this one, so if you want to go Frost, just keep that in mind. It could be subject to balance changes in the future, though I don't like to play that way. I just enjoy my time, and if something changes, and we adapt. The proc is also a large AoE chill effect. It's kind of redundant with the suit. If you're going to use Frost Armor, I recommend picking a different proc, different weapon to use with it. Unless you're just leveling the suit faster, that's fine. Eventually you'll want to pick something else up. If you don't use Frost Armor, the proc is actually a good weapon to apply chill to increase your damage to whatever you're fighting. Good suit. Gadget. Gadget is the trapper's aspect. It's popular for any trapper in dungeons. It's popular for team mapping. Great suit all around, and it's pretty cheap. Just increases your trap damage, decreases your trap cooldown, gives you some damage resistance. Really great suit. The proc happens kind of frequently, and it increases the damage your traps will deal. Very good suit. Very recommended if you're a trapper. Very affordable. Though tinkering is not cheap, it is a relatively cheap aspect to get into. Harvest. Very popular. Very expensive. It's generally considered the gatherer's aspect. It's also used on team mappers and dungeon pickers. It has a chance, the biggest part of it is it has a chance to yield 2 times the loot whenever you're gathering or skinning or picking chests. So if it rolls while you unlock a T-map chest, it'll double the loot. It'll have like 2 skill orbs instead of 1, twice the gold, that kind of thing. So it's very popular for high level T-map chests, very popular for lockpickers. Good suit all around. It's very expensive though. If you are trying to make gatherers on your alt accounts just for some money to fund other things, it's not recommended to unlock this. Just because the return on investment, it takes a long time to turn a profit basically. But if you enjoy the grind, the aspect grind alongside it, it's a good option. The proc generally isn't used for anything. It's cute, but it's not recommended. Holy is an amazing suit. It got a rework last year in the expansion and again recently this year. The armor increases your chivalry. It gives you a chance for extra chivalry symbols so you can use more chivalry abilities. And on hit or spell, it gives you a chance to apply a holy shield, which will soak up 15 damage. And it'll constantly try to refresh every spell or hit. It's generally used on Dexers. Particularly swords right now synergizes really nicely with it. Very good suit, very recommended, and it's kind of a low to mid-range price, so it's very affordable if you want a slightly stronger suit to get going. Good option here on your aspect unlock if you want to use holy. The weapon, the proc, is amazing. It gives you a nice holy shield, absorbing a lot of damage for you and your team. Great suit to use in groups, very popular in time, good on bosses. Great proc, great weapon all around. Very recommend. Lightning. This is arguably one of the strongest suits in the game, but it takes a lot of power, a lot of base character power, and it takes really high aspect before it shows how strong it is. The armor has a chance on weapon hit or spell cast to arc to multiple targets and deal half of the damage to everything. It also has a chance when it arcs to then shock everything, which will make those targets take 50% more damage for 5 seconds. It takes a really high aspect level for this to become consistent, so it doesn't really show its strength for a long time. It's often recommended for archers, and it's recommended for late game guys who are looking to push something. Volt Shield is a nice damage mitigation tool, very cool. The proc, however, is very lackluster. I would only use the proc if you are leveling the suit faster. It's generally not recommended to use the proc for any specific purpose. It's just redundant. Very expensive suit, not recommended for new guys, but if you want it, it is an option. Lyric aspect. This is the Bard suit. Lyric armor will give you damage to barded targets. It'll give you a chance to reset your skill timer upon using a skill so you can rapidly discard peace provo targets. And it gives you effective barding skill increase, increasing your success chance to bard those targets. Very good suit, very recommended for bards. It's kind of a mid-range price. Let's check real time what we're looking at. Lyric core. Yeah, Lyric 20k, not bad. Pretty affordable, very recommended for bards. The proc is quite good for barding in groups, not as good if you're solo. It will deal high damage and prevent bard breaks for a short duration, and also cancel any existing bard breaks. Good suit, very recommended for bards, not required, but it is a very popular suit which will increase your performance quite a bit. I definitely recommend it. Madness. So this is a new aspect from last year's expansion, and it is a very, 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 very high damage suit, which comes at the cost of HP burn and will try to kill you the whole time. And for that reason, it is not very popular at the moment. I think it's kind of due for a rework, but it is still a very viable suit on some builds, particularly archers are very nice with it, and it's good in groups, great on bosses, good if you have support. Some people will struggle to stay alive using this suit. The damage on the proc is insane. It scales and gets multiplied by the armor. It's amazing, it feels great, until you die because it killed you, pretty much. It's a fun suit. I would probably recommend looking at it on archers at the moment and not much else. It's, like I said, it's due for a rework. And I would only recommend it because it's so cheap at the moment due to it not being popular. If it gets adjusted and becomes more popular, I will not recommend it to new players. You need to know what you're doing with this suit. It's very dangerous. Poison. Poison is the standard go-to Nox aspect. It is very strong, very great suit, very well designed. It increases your damage to poison targets, which increases all of your damage. Your melee hits, your bow shots, your spells, your poison damage, your disease, your bleed, your procs, everything gets increased. It's a multi on the suit. It gives you a chance to resolve 2 poison ticks at once, which is amazing. And it increases your effective poison and taste ID skills. Very good suit. Very recommend if you're going to be an Noxer. I don't know that I would recommend any other suit for poisoners. The proc is quite amazing, quite high damage. Not required, but it is very good to use because it will resolve several poison, maybe all of them. How many does it do? It just resolves a ton of poison procs and does a big nuke. Very good suit, very good proc. Expensive, so keep that in mind. It's going to take a lot of money to level it up. Shadow. This is the go-to backstabber armor. Quite amazing. Extremely expensive, not really new player friendly, but backstabbers are probably one of the strongest suits at the moment. Strongest builds for progressing if you can afford to level the suit. Shadow armor gives you increased backstab accuracy so you don't miss, increased backstab damage, and melee damage for 10 seconds after the hit. It gives you damage resistance. It gives you a chance to restore some hit points whenever you're stealthing around, and it increases your bonus stealth steps whenever you use the skill. It's an amazing suit. It's extremely expensive. Backstabbers get really strong, really fast, really early game. It doesn't take that long for them to be capping out, hitting stuff for 10k, one-tapping monsters, and having a good old time. The proc is basically, when it happens, it's a free hide stealth, and it delivers some extra damage on top of that when you deliver the next backstab. Great proc, expensive, but if you're going to go backstabber, this is the way. I don't think there's anything else I would recommend for backstabber. Void, very popular, very expensive suit and weapon at the moment. The armor gives you stats restoration, HP every 20 seconds, stam every 10 seconds, and mana once per minute. It's a large amount of your max, so the higher your HP or mana or whatever, it'll fill it back up as soon as it drops below that threshold. It gives you a chance, very high chance at high level, to ignore the enemy's mitigations, their armor and resist, and deal 15% more damage when that occurs. So it's great for taking on high armor, high resist targets, popular in time on mages, and it's useful on non-macers if you're a dexter. It also gives effective parry and resist bonus. This resist bonus will count towards your 100 resist for mages to not get interrupted in PvM if you want to use it that way, if your points are spread thin on a pseudo PvP type build. The proc is extremely popular. For 15 seconds it increases your damage to the target by a large amount. Very good for bosses, very good for single target farming. Very high performing aspect. It's also extremely expensive. I don't know that I would recommend it for new players, but it is good on mages in particular early on. I actually unlocked it on my Arcane Mage playthrough, only to find out that I couldn't really afford to level it as quickly as I was earning XP versus the gold income I had. Still, great suit if you want to spend some money. War aspect is the PvP aspect. So in PvP, you keep your bonuses, your defensive bonuses versus monsters around. You have no bonuses versus players whatsoever, but the damage mitigation from your suit will still apply to the monsters around you. So if you're a dungeon PvPer, this is very popular. You level up war aspect by doing PvP events and factions, and that's it. You can do it in the faction dungeon, but you cannot just farm normal dungeons and level this aspect. It's pretty much only leveled through PvP stuff. Water aspect. Not a very popular suit, but it is quite good early on. It gives you weapon special chance and charge spell bonus, though it's generally not recommended on any kind of damage mage. It gives you bonus to healing on others and healing received. So it's a popular healer suit. Gablin is known for making this very popular using mini heal, healing omnis and in groups. This is a very good undervalued suit early game. It gives you effective alchemy, which is really nice quality of life. If you notice in my Disciplined Swords playthrough, I actually spent some of my skill points on alchemy just to have a little bit longer duration. This is also a good option for very early game guys to have nice QOL, increase their special damage, and have very high sustain due to increased healing amounts. It's a very, very, very cheap suit. It's a good option if you are very new and want to level up something cheap. It's great on Dex Tamers as well to increase your healing versus followers. The proc would be more useful if it hit your teammates. It only works on you and your pets. It basically just cleanses poison, bleed, and disease. I think it's not a recommended proc at the moment until Luthien wants to make it hit everyone. So at the time of this video, not a recommended proc, but a decent suit if you want something extremely cheap on a Dexter or a Tamer. Chromatic cores are basically just a rainbow wild card. They can be converted to any core. So naturally, if you have chromatics, you should just sell them or convert it to only the most expensive stuff. They're going for about 50k right now though, so just sell them. Make your money. And I think that's it. We'll do more updates and I'll probably do more in-depth specific stuff related to the aspects in future videos. So thanks for watching. Hope this helps. See you in the next one.